Hey guys, happy New Year's Eve. It's your good old friend Hollow, and I decided I wanted to do hopefully a short video, kind of expressing my thoughts on this quote Genshin drama. I'm quoting it because it's not really drama. It's something that people are trying to make into drama, but in reality, it's not really anything. It's just a case of people just being mad, just be mad. Now, the whole thing is that I did make a poll on YouTube asking if I should even talk about this. I mean, I got one vote saying just stay out of it, while I got a comment saying, I could do both, stay out of it or just not do it. And that some people in the Genshin community are insufferable. Yeah, I 100% agree. But, the thing is with this whole thing is that I'm confused as to what this drama is supposed to be stemming from. And really, the reality is that people are mad mostly because Silali and Marika is in the same battle. Now, the narrative they're going with is the fact that since Silali passive does the whole melt thing, and if you do melt with her, you do more damage, and that, they will feel that she will go well with Marika and whatnot. So that's why, they feel that that's why those two are together, and that this is just a pretty much a big old scheme on Hoyo's part to try to, get more money off for the whale players. And this is screwing over the free-to-play players, mostly because of the fact that the 20 free wishes that normally being for Lantern Raid isn't on the first patch, it's after when the first phase ends. And the community is outraged by this because of that. Now, despite, me agreeing that, I feel that putting both Silali and Marika in the same band, it seemed a bit, dumb in my opinion, for multiple reasons. I do not understand why people would take this and make it seem like this is probably the worst thing Genshin ever did and whatnot. And I don't know why people just seem to be having these senior moments where apparently they just seem to forget some things in terms of Genshin, but then act as if something is brand new to them, as if this is their first time ever playing the game. And I've seen plenty of people in comments kind of showing this, and it either shows just how out of touch some of the Genshin players are, or they just show that they truly do not care enough to pay attention to positive stuff when it comes to Genshin, and they only just think about the negatives when it comes to Genshin. So, with that being said, it kind of just feels to me like people are trying to make this into more than what it actually is, and in reality, it's really nothing. And this is especially so when you consider the fact that before any of this happened, more than not, and if you ever is in Hoyo Lab, you would know this. More often than not, you will see more people talking about either skipping both Marika and Silali, only pulling for maybe one of them, or just skipping the entire phase altogether. So it just boggles the mind that they would feel that a majority of people that complain right now is people that are trying to get both characters. And these are the free-to-play players complaining about this, and they're thinking they're speaking up for all the other free-to-play players that in general may not even care about getting both of them, but one of them. And this is one of those cases, like this kind of like the whole Natlin whitewash drama BS that didn't last, that didn't go nowhere, and that people thought was going to be the thing that's going to destroy Genshin. Because apparently they want to throw everything at Genshin and then some to try to see if they can, knock them off their throne and whatnot. Not that Genshin has a throne per se, But it just seemed like Genshin is such an easy target to hate on that they'll just find anything to hate on them with and then try to stretch that into something bigger than what it actually is. But much like the whole Natlan whitewash garbage they did, it was only a small portion of people that really cared and that really gave a damn, where the rest of the world didn't care. And when it comes to this particular drama, quote, quote, drama, no one cares. No one really cares. And you know how you can tell no one cares about this? Why isn't the CM players complaining about this? Now I'm sure some people will say, well, they're the main attraction to Genshin. They're the ones that are giving more money to Genshin and such. Fair enough. But when you compare this to last year's Lantern Raid, when the CM players more or less was outraged of the fact that they were only going to get 3 fates, pretty much just 13 pulls for their Lantern Raid, there were a lot more outrage back then. There were a lot more YouTubers back then that felt that way. Some that I watch on regular. There were a lot of people complaining about it. But then you fast forward to now, and you have a handful of people that complain about it. You have TechCon complaining about it, but that's the norm for him at this point because he just had nothing to do his time but to complain about Genshin, even though he don't play Genshin, but he would take the time to talk shit about Genshin and then act as if we're the ones of the bad guy and we're the ones obsessed with people like him when he must be more obsessed with Genshin, but he still talks about it. But you don't see plenty of people talking about this. You don't. What are we gonna say? Oh, well, people on Twitter talking about, but Twitter is a cesspool of toxicity anyway. Same with the HoloLab. It's nothing but a cesspool of toxicity that doesn't amount to anything but people just wanting to hate on Genshin just for the sake of hating on Genshin. And even when they're not even playing the game, and even when they shouldn't have no association with the game whatsoever, they will still find some reason, somehow, to dislike and bash on a game that they in particular do not play no more. And at this point, it's like what my brother keeps telling me. It's at this point I'm just thinking that they're just people that just want to doom post everything, trying to bait people into making videos like I am, and I guess I fell for the bait this is more just me just ranting because it's almost the end of 2024, and I like to assume that hey. We're getting a new Archon quest. We're getting 2 characters and all. So we're getting 20 free pulls and such. But because there's some free-to-play players that are upset about this, they feel that those 20 free pulls was going to be the end-all be-all thing. And there's some confusion, of course, as to why there's that. Because you had different people saying different things about this. You have some people that are saying that it's really the banner lineup that they're upset about, while you have some people that say it's the fact that the 20 pulls is on the second half and not the first half. So, I'm going to try to condense this as best as I could. I don't want to make this into a 20-minute, 30-minute video. So let's talk about the first part of it, for instance. The first part about the banners being, the two characters being in the same phase. Yes, I 100% agree, it just makes sense. It doesn't make sense, but at the same time, when you consider where the Chronicle banner being back into play, you can maybe understand why they have those 2 characters together and have the 2 rerun, and they have the 3 other banners in the other one. Now, you could say this kind of reflects on what Honkai Star Rail is kind of doing right now, because Honkai Star Rail is kind of doing the same thing, where they have 2 new characters on different phases, mind you, but they have a triple banner of reruns. So on one phase you have one new character plus three old characters, and the next phase one character plus three old characters. So you can maybe say this is Genshin's experiment, if you will, to see, hey, what if we do this and then put these three banners here together, and you can maybe understand why the 20 pulls are probably there for that specific reason, because, well, hey, if you're trying to pull for either Arcane or Cloran or the Chronicle banner, you can get these 20 wishes, bada bing, bada boom. Now, of course, again, is part of the Lantern Right rewards. So of course, the Lantern Right reward is going to give you those rewards during the Lantern Right, not before then. So you can maybe say that's why, but it's really unknown if that's the case or not. But the problem with the double banner thing, or rather two characters being the same banner thing, is the fact that they're together in the first place. And that part I can understand. And that the part I will at least be on the same page with some of the people that are upset. But then the point where I push away from that narrative or push away from that standpoint is that people got baited into believing that because ZZZ banners last for longer period, that meant Genshin should be doing the same thing, which disproven to be false. So it was simply because people read some links and believed that this was going to be the case, and it ended up being false, and now people are mad about it. They also are mad at the fact that, because they don't have the 20 pulls, they can't be able to pull for Mariko or Silali, and that they probably had a tough spot to be able to pull for both of them, let alone one of them. And this is where, I feel that the free-to-play mentality or the free-to-play, excuse becomes, as it is, an excuse. And, hey, I've been a free-to-play player for a while myself. The most I spent on Genshin has been, at most, $15 for the weekly moons and the battle pass. I don't really buy nothing on Genshin, and if I do spend anything, it'd be a small portion of it, and that's solely to get one character most of the time. I don't get every single character in Genshin. I do not have Baizo, I do not have Venti, I do not have Wisely, Lali, no, not Lali, Sing Queen. I don't have those characters. I do not have those characters. So, for me, even if you want to say maybe I'm a dolphin player per se, wishing that I don't even know I can call myself even that, it's the fact that I do understand that getting gems and doing stuff can be a bit tough, can take a bit long and whatnot. But if you want a character, if you want something from a specific update really badly, you would be saving up to get them. You would be trying your damnedest to work up the gems necessary for you to be able to do so. And I just feel that when it comes to free-to-play players sometimes, it always feels like it's an entitlement for them to get free rewards in terms of gems or fates in order for them to get a character or a weapon. And to me, it never made sense to me that you have people that complain about the lack of rewards, the lack of this and lack of that, and yet the game more or less makes it simple, or at least make it not as hassle for you to get the rewards. Let's think about where Genshin is now. You don't even need to do daily. You can simply use your resident or just explore and open a treasure chest to do your dailies. Think about that. Once upon a time, you had to do your dailies on regular just to get some premium gems. Now they're pretty much saying, hey, if you just make some condemned residents or use your residents in general, that counts your dailies. But that's just too much for some free-to-play players, I guess. You had treasure chests that you can go look for. Now, the game even dumbed it down to where now if you use the treasure compass, instead of you following that white light, it is put on your map for you to be able to find it, whether that's a treasure chest or a challenge or what have you, to get the treasure and get you some more premium gems. But again, that seemed too hard for some free-to-play players. The Archon quests, at least recently now, they have it that when you complete them, you get 500 premium gems after you complete it. But again, that just seemed like too much of a hassle for some free-to-play players. You have certain events that give you premium gems. They may not give you thousands or so premium gems, but they give you enough premium gems to maybe do a few fucking pulls. But again, it just seems like free-to-play players don't do that. I see more people in the whole lot complain about doing certain events, having to do this and having to do that, than saying, oh hey, I did all the events, I got my gems so I can move on. Like, it's ridiculous. And then I look at this from the standpoint of, oh well, they could give us the 20 pools and such. And then I think, for a game that is based on luck in terms of, gambling, like you're gambling your gems or fates to see if you can get a 5-star or a 4-star character that being promoted. For a game that more people often than not complain about the badness system, how it's sometimes screw you over in terms of you getting a 4-star, because sometimes there can be one new 4-star and you will pull like 100 Bennett's or 100 Rosarias before getting a new character in some point in time. You want me to believe and buy into the fact that 20 wishes is going to somehow make everything okay? When I see comments like that, I can't help but think to myself, do you have 0 gems on you that you're making this statement? Or are you saying that just because you had 20 extra pull, it would make it easier for you to pull for one character? And that is where the confusion lies. That is where I am a bit confused. Because if you played the game long enough, and if you have been grinding a long while, you would have the gems necessary in order for you to get the characters you want. How is 20 extra pulls is going to mean anything? Now, I can go back to what I said about the whole lantern right thing. You have 3 banners. You have Claran, Arcano, as well as the Chronicle banner. And the Chronicle banner have, 5 or 6 5-star characters, plus all those 5-star related weapons? And I am sure that they have just more events in the Lantern, right, that they probably have in this event currently. And they also give you 20 pulls. Now, realistically, okay, you like to think that even if they gave you 10 pulls, like I give you 10 fates on the first half, right? Even if they gave you that, and even if this was a case of you trying to pull for both characters, or even just one of them, am I really going to be led to believe, especially if you're on 50-50 at that, am I really going to be led to believe that you're going to be so lucky, so super lucky, that initial 10 fates you spend is going to give you the 5-star character you want? Am I really going to be led to believe that? Really? Am I really going to be led to believe that? Because I can say, because I told myself, hey, I want to get the Polo Star on the Chronicle Wish. Now, if and when I do get the 20 fates or 20 pull, am I going to assume in my mind, hey, these 20 pull is going to give me the Polo Star? No, I'm not going to think that. And the reason why I don't think that, because I keep my expectations in check when I'm making pulls on Genshin. I do. I think anyone in their right mind would be doing that. They would put their expectations in check before ever making a pull, instead of just putting it in there mind that, hey, I'm going to get this character with these small amount of pulls, with the single pulls or whatnot. Because when you do that, when you put yourself in that mind state, then you're just going to disappoint yourself later on. Again, especially if you're on a 50-50. Not like, a guarantee. Not where you're at 70 something pity. If you're on zero pity, on a 50-50, and you're trying to rely on 20 pulls to maybe give you the thing you need, it sounds ridiculous. And I know some people will say, well, people will probably just want those 20 pulls to start off with, so that way when they do get the gems, they will probably have enough to get through. And yeah, again, I would get that, but the problem with that logic is, again, if you was at a 50-50, you start off at 20 pity, you get whatever gem, you get the gem by with me, you get them, you go through it, but then you end up losing it. Then whose fault is that at the time? Is it your fault? No. Probably is, because you decided not to grind for gen prior. But let's just say, for the sake of army, we don't blame you. Do we blame Genshin at that point? Yes. You know why we blame Genshin? Because of their banner system. Because of their rate up system. Because maybe you didn't get the radiant symbol on your screen, and everybody else probably did, but because you didn't, that made Genshin bad. And it's stuff like this where some people like me who making this video, some people that may be on Reddit, or some people that may be on Facebook, or even Hololab, who have at least enough common sense, have at least self-awareness, and just battling against the stupidity of the Genshin community, because sometimes they are just complaining for no reason. And as I mentioned earlier, compare last year's Lantern Rain to this year's Lantern Rain is like night and day. Go back last year and look at videos talking about last year's Lantern Rain. Go back last year and look at how much negative feedback they was getting. Go back last year when Genshin was losing followers on their on Chinese Twitter or TikTok, whatever the hell it was. Go back to then and look at now. Who's really complaining? Is it the CN players? No, they don't care. Is it half of the community? No, they don't particularly care either, for what it seems. Do most of the YouTubers care? I guess some do, because they're trying to make money out, trying to create drama that's not even there. So who really cares? No one really cares. And because no one cares, again, bringing up the whole Natlin drama, because no one cares, that is our fault. That's the Genshin Defenders' fault. That's the Shell's fault. Because since we are allowing it, and since we're spending money on the game, we're condoning this being a common thing. And the thing I don't understand is that we don't even know if this is a one-time thing or not. We don't know that. Now, hey, if 5.4 does this exact same thing, where they put two new cabs in the same band and whatnot, then hey, by all means, I will eat my words and I will say, hey, Hollow, you can go F yourself, because you said that this won't happen, and instead they went and do the same thing. We can very well say that. But do I believe that's going to happen? Personally, I don't think they're going to do that. Personally, I don't think they're going to do that. I think in this particular case, it was an exception that they decided to do because of the Chronicle Wish. Now, yes, we can argue and say that Celai could be in the second phase, while we could be in the first phase. We can very well say that, and you would be 100% right. You'd be 100% right. But in terms of this particular thing, I do not believe they're going to do this in 5.4. I don't really believe so. But to try to make this narrative where they're saying that Genshin is killing themselves and that they're gonna lose a bunch of players and that we're defending this and doing this and doing that. And then again, I repeat what I said earlier. Compare last year's Lantern Right drama. Again, a drama that lasted well over a few months. Heck, we didn't. The drama didn't completely fade away until near the anniversary. A drama that lasted for a while. Compare that to now. I don't see Honkai Star Rail players talking about this. Now, hey, maybe after tomorrow's live stream with Honkai, they will say, well, hey, look what we doing. We got two characters on two different phases on the same phase. Genshin could never. We can say that. They can very well say that it's one patch, it's one banner, and because Genshin did one thing, that means they will forever do it, so whatever. But they can very well say that. But even Honkai is maybe at risk of getting stupidity in their community, because if they are doing the triple banner thing for both phases, for two, along with two new characters, but they're not stretching out the duration, then they're probably gonna get some hate too. But then again, it doesn't make sense for them to be getting any hate, because you like to think, compared to Genshin's problem, Honkai's issue should be fine. Honkai's issue should be that, okay, well, hey, if we're getting two characters from two separate banners, that should be fine for us. But the problem they will allude to is the fact that if they're triple banners, and maybe let's just say 2 out of 3 characters they don't want, they may want the other character that's there. But the problem is that they're in the same banner as the new character, and vice versa for phase 2. And in my mind, I just think to myself, would this be any different in Genshin's predicament? Let's be real. We could make the argument and say that, hey, put Silani in the second phase, right? Who would have been the first phase of Marika? You think it would have been Alkina? Do you really think that they would say we're gonna put 2 pyro characters, both of them pretty much being the most strongest pyro characters in the game? Whether you want to say one is overpowering, the power could be the other is neither here or there. But do you really think Genshin is doing that? No, they're not. There's no way they would be doing that. And then you can't say that putting Alkino with Silani make any sense either. And you know why? For the same reason why they didn't want Marika with Silali. Because you can very well work on Kino into Silali's melt team as well. So either way, it was going to be screwed. Imagine somebody saying, hey, I want to get Marika as well as Alkino, but then those two is in the same banner. Then you're screwed. It doesn't matter if you had 23 wishes or not. You would be in the same predicament as you would if you had Marika and Silani in the same banner. And vice versa if you had Alkino and Silani in the second phase. You get Silani, but then if you did not want Marika but wanted Alkino, you would then have to go through the same struggle. And I'm sure some people will talk about, well, you know, it would be better because that way you get both those characters in that same phase. And again, I had to reiterate, you can't speak for everybody in the Genshin community because not everyone cares for Marika. And in that same token, not everyone cares for Silali. So, to say that one thing may happen over something else is foolhardy to say because you don't know. You truly do not know. So, again, this drama, quote, drama, is nothing to even consider talking about. I just thought I should speak my mind about it because, you know, I felt like, oh, hey, you know, if this was, you know, anything significant, you know, maybe people would be talking about it more. Maybe this would have been spread out more. Maybe the CN players would have been arguing about it. Maybe you see some kind of thing on social media or through YouTube talking about how they're unfollowing Genshin because of this drama. Maybe there would be something about review bombing or something of another. But I haven't seen anything of the sort happen. And it's been like, what, 2 or 3 days since this announcement began? Am I gonna be led to believe that if we go look at the charts when it comes to these two characters, am I gonna be led to believe it's gonna be at zero because the free to play players couldn't be able to get the character? But yeah, I mean that's all I wanted to say. It became 30-minute video. But I just had a lot to say, and it's just that the Genshin community, they're stupid. They are dumb. Not all y'all. All y'all. Some of y'all are good. Now, I can't say some of y'all. I would say 98% of y'all good. 98% of y'all good. Y'all play the game. You have fun. I never say don't complain. I never say don't complain. If there's something that is valid to complain about, by all means, complain about it. If it's valid, if it makes sense, and if it's warranted, then by all means, complain about it. If it's something as stupid as this, where they're trying to create a narrative to be mad at Genshin about that, again, doesn't amount to anything because nobody's really even talking about it, then all that really says about those people is that they just want to dislike Genshin regardless. So, I'm sure when the next Lantern Rite comes up, they're gonna hate on that too. And the next Lantern Rite is that they're gonna hate on that. So we might as well just say, anytime Lantern Rite comes up, just prepare for drama. Just be prepared for drama. So, that's all lesson from all this. That the Lantern Rite is cursed, and that people will always have something to complain about in the Lantern Rite. Anyway, I am done for right now. I will be posting a video on my, Mawika and hopefully Silani pools, hopefully, if there's no issue. That will probably be my last video for 2024. So stay tuned for that. Whether I do it by voice or not, who knows. But thank you guys for indulging me in this, baby rant I'm having because of this baby drama that occurred. I hope y'all are having a lovely New Year's Eve, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace out.